Welcome to another episode. We're here to talk about the Society of Broadcast Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines. I have on the side several pictures of past presidents, just in case you may want to know them. Of course, I don't know all of them. I may have missed several key officers. But this is from my best recollection. So let's name them one by one. so, from the top, you'll see Engineer Antonio Liduna, who had the pleasure of becoming the head of engineering of People's Television Network and GMA Network, and now Beam. He's a former Society of Broadcast Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines president. Next is Engineer Melvin Acosta, a professional electronics engineer. He's also a former ICEP national president and currently the head of operations of TSI Inc. Next is Engineer Tomas Sales, a professional electronics engineer, formerly head of the Metro Manila Transmissions Operations at GMA Network. He's now the consultant of Christian Broadcasting Network. Next is Engineer Alexander Paredes, a professional electronics engineer. Used to be the head of Beam. Next is Engineer Rolin Lintag, who used to be the head of Amcara or Studio 23 then. Engineer Dennis Carandang, the current head of engineering of TV5, used to be the head of engineering of ABS-CBN, and a former ICEP national president also. He's a professional electronics engineer. Next is Engineer Armand Urusal, a professional electronics engineer with a master's in business administration in Ateneo de Manila. He's currently the head of engineering of Quest Broadcasting. He once held the position of vice president for the ICEP National. And then yours truly, James Roddy Santiago, PECE with a master's in engineering and former vice president for ICEP National also. Next is Engineer Solidum, former head of engineering of GMA. Next is Engineer Marcos Elizan, former head of engineering of ABS-CBN. Engineer Ricardo Cabral, a professional electronics engineer, former manager of Zoe Broadcasting, and currently manager for engineering of GMA Network. And then lastly is Mr. Ernie Claudio. So before we proceed, I'd like to play my intro for my sponsors. Our sponsors: New Ramen and Curry, the best ramen and curry in town. Naughty Cafe, the fastest growing milk tea franchise in the country. Pan Pacific Airways, flying style like Pan Pacific. 90 Degrees North, a media company, a total system integration company that provides broadcast, telecommunications, streaming, and educational requirements. And we're back. So I'm just gonna put my monitor. So now, the organization So as of 2010, we have 117 members with registered emails. Now, of course, during that time, not everybody have their own corporate emails and are a little bit ashamed to use free emails from Yahoo, Gmail, and the likes. So it's incredible. It's just 10 years ago, and a lot of things have changed in information technology. And I think most of us have free email accounts. So, but I can guarantee you that there are more than 117 members of the Society of Broadcast Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines. So the members, member networks and sustaining members. So I may have listed only the popular ones, but there are members from other networks that I may have missed because I'm just trying to recall the list from my memory, because I think when I stepped down as president it was 2010. I don't even remember. So it was that long. So historically, SBET has performed its mandate to address the technical and managerial needs of the broadcast engineers and technicians. This was totally independent from the Institute of Electronics Engineers of the Philippines then, but we do have some linkages before, because during that time there was no chapters. There was only one, and it's the ICEP National. And then later on, ICEP National decentralized its operation. The ICEP National became the policy-making body, and then the chapters will take care of the day-to-day operations, taking care of the member concerns. So at that time, SBETP became more into ICEP activities. So, of course, the networks that usually are composed of that composes SBETP are from ABS-CBN, People's Television Network, TB5, which used to be the Associated Broadcasting Corporation, GMA, Radio Philippines Network, the people know them now as CNN Philippines, Zoe, IBC, SBN, Net25, RJ Network, Beam, under Radio Mindanao Network, UNTV under Progressive Broadcasting, GEM TV, Radio Mindanao Network, Veritas, of course, other KBP members. And then our sustaining members, suppliers that are really active in supporting every activities of the SBETP. Broadcast World Philippines, Composite Technology, Golden Swartz Philippines, Radio Frequency of Australia, Advel, Solid Group Inc., NEC Philippines, Richardson Electronics, Media Convergence, and NERA. Of course, we're talking about the revival of the organization. We do look forward to increasing the number of sustaining members so that we will have a more vibrant activities to be lined up in the coming days once things are finalized. So we have affiliations, both local and abroad. So for local affiliations, we have the Cable Association of Broadcast and Telecommunications in Cebu, or known as Caddy. So we do have to refresh our ties with them, assuming that they're still active. Next is the Kapisanan ng mga broadcasters sa Pilipinas. The KBP has their own technical committee, so they've been in touch with Society of Broadcast Engineers Technicians of the Philippines, and most of the officers of SBETP are part of the KBP membership. So we do sync our activities, and we support each other because we are in the same industry. For international affiliations, we have ties with the Society of Broadcast Engineers USA. They call it SBE. So the difference with us is we just added the technicians of the Philippines, because we don't discriminate. We also need to help our technicians upgrade their knowledge and skills. And the Korean Broadcast Engineers and Technicians Association, or KBETA. So I do hope they're still active, and I mentioned it right, the meaning of KBETA. Okay, the revival of SBETP. Our intention is to have a focused activities, trainings, symposiums, both for the technical and the managerial skills. Everybody needs to be promoted, climb the corporate ladder, and we need to help our members. We have consistently done technical and managerial trainings before that have resulted into promotions to a lot of our members. It's quite beneficial for everybody to look at the other perspective, not just being a technical person, but how to work in a team and handle a team. So I think SBETP can be credited for the great career milestones of several members. Next is, of course, SBETP will still be affiliated with ICEP. The thing that is lacking or is a mismatch for the needs of the broadcast engineers and practitioners, when we do attend ICEP seminars, there is a disconnect to what we need to perform our jobs. So this is one of those reasons why it was thought of maybe it's better to revive the organization, and while still keeping the ties with ICEP, just to take care of the administrative part of getting the equivalent points necessary so that we can renew our licenses. So we don't, as practitioners in the broadcast field, don't have to waste time and money attending a seminar for the purposes of getting the points, but also learning from the activity. I hope you do understand that the broadcast field is very, very specific. There are things that we really need to learn to be able to perform our jobs properly to the expectations or even beyond of our superiors. And in the past, SBETP has provided and have met all of those requirements. We even have hands-on training on amplifiers, tuning of tube amplifiers, the pallets, the solid state, when we need to perform repairs, calibration, test and measurement, those sort of things that cannot be addressed by ICEP. I've never heard of any activity wherein ICEP dealt with such matter in specific concern, especially for broadcasters. So we do understand that ICEP needs to take care of a broad membership of electronics engineers and professional electronics engineers engaged in different disciplines. So it would be unfair also for a telecom guy to attend a broadcast symposium. So this is the intention, one of these noble intention to revive the organization. So the movers. So it started when we had a discussion with engineer Christian Miquiabas, our current national president of ISEP, and he totally agrees with us that it's time to have a focused organization to take care of the needs of the broadcast industry. And he gave us his full support, and the board of the ISEP National is already in the process of crafting a memorandum to ensure the smooth partnership of ISEP and the Society of Broadcast Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines. As far as I know, our current president have engaged into informal talks to Engineer Melvin Acosta, yours truly, and Engineer Erwin Galam, who's currently the chairman of the KDP Technical Committee. So the common thing among us three is that we were all former officers of the SPETP. So we had also an informal discussion about this, and we all agreed that it's time for us to reconstitute the organization. So there had been no opposition. In fact, there's a lot of excitement also from other former members of the SBETP that the organization will be revived. So we do expect that it will be fun, exciting to meet colleagues in the profession. The beauty about SBETP is that we do work for competing companies, but when we are in our organization as engineers, as technicians, we all treat ourselves as colleagues, and we are not competitors. We are in the organization to help each other. That's the beauty of our organization. We can actually joke around with the different concerns, issues that we deal with working every day. So it's a beautiful relationship among technical practitioners. So our target upon the revival, so taking care of the paperwork, of course, the needs, technical and career requirements of our members, make sure that we have a good cooperation with the industry, the organization, KBP, ISEP, and even the regulator, the National Telecommunications Commission, and the newly formed Department of Information and Communication Technology. I think it will not be a problem for SBET to link up with the essential organizations that has direct impact to our industry. Next is to reach out to those practitioners outside of the major cities, because their concern is the same with the concerns of the people working in big cities, in big or small networks. That is skills and training. So we may need to go around the country, do like a sort of a road show, but this one is more of a tour on certain areas where it's easily accessible for them to participate. So this is very important because the pace of technology is moving so fast that it's even harder for people in the big city to cope up with the necessary skill requirement. What more for those practitioners outside of the key cities? So we need to reach out to them. And then, of course, ensure that the training symposiums that we do will have an equivalent point for those who needed to renew their respective licenses, be it for engineering, for the first class radio telephone operator, and the ECT. And then maybe strengthen ties with the various HRDs of different networks, radio and TV, to let them know that there is this organization that has been revived recently that can help them conduct trainings, and maybe we can inform them that we can perform certifications of a certain skill set requirement for their employees. So it's going to be a symbiotic relationship that we can perform such assessment in their behalf, and we can issue such certifications that their personnel have undergone strict training, or at least have satisfied a certain requirement to, of course, to advance his career and other potential while working in that network. Okay, and then more partnership with vendors, equipment manufacturers. They usually are very open into discussing with organizations on how to promote certain technologies. Of course, it's related to some products, but they do a lot of sponsorship. So it cuts down the cost required to hold a seminar, and it's easier for practitioners to attend with minimal cost, maybe just administrative cost to participate. So in my recollection, when I joined the broadcast industry in 1998 and became a member of the Society of Broadcast Engineers and Technicians of the Philippines, I've never really spent a lot of money. It's more of maybe just like your own transportation cost, and then that's about it. It's the organization who takes care of the members. We don't really pay a lot of money, or most of the time it's free, because the activities are shouldered by our sustaining members and the seminar sponsor. So because it's very specific, it's for broadcast and their products are for broadcast, it becomes more cost efficient for suppliers to sponsor an event instead of going around one by one for each network and repeatedly doing their product presentations or technical presentations. So it's great that SBETP can gather all of those practitioners in one room, in one event, and we can synchronize all of our knowledge, and the sponsor company saves money also by going around, money and time to meet all the broadcasters. And then, of course, lastly, once we have taken care of the requirements to provide the organization, I'm sure some of you are interested in joining. So please do be on a lookout for announcements when we open the membership applications for this organization. And for sure, we're gonna professionalize further the manner we conduct the seminars, and we will pursue definitely the certification for certain skill set of our members. So we may be able to define certain qualification for a transmitter engineer, a studio engineer, maintenance engineer, satellite engineer, microwave, etc., etc. So the list goes on, but maybe we can focus maybe on 3 to 5 certifications, but these are all ideas we have in mind, and we do look forward for your active participation and support once we commission the organization again. So I'd like to thank all of those who took time to listen and watch our episode. I'm sure our ISEP President, Engineer Christian Miquiabas, is excited also for this track of broadcasting. to be active again, and hopefully with the support of ISEP, the support of the broadcast practitioners and the sustaining members, will do great things again for the benefit of the broadcast industry and the electronics engineering profession. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell for future updates. Good evening, guys.